Hey, World Vision fans. No intro, no ending, none of that music. This is going to be as straightforward video as possible. So a lot of you guys know there has been some situations that has developed on Global and JP and all revolving Duane. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I promised that I will make a video. Essentially, for those of you who don't know what happened, I did a stream on Friday and I decided to initiate dialogue between players regarding the Duane release on JP. Now, I didn't do a lot of my research in terms of what was actually happening in JP because I didn't really actually care about that. What I really only cared about was the fact that I was a little irked myself given the fact that they released Duane on JP, knowing or thinking in this case that Duane was an exclusive on Global. And here was the irony of it all. Turns out that Duane was actually not an exclusive to begin with. We all thought perhaps he was an exclusive. In fact, a lot of folks been thinking about the fact that he was an exclusive and perhaps even covered content thinking that he was an exclusive for a very long time. In fact, the thinking of exclusive units dates back all the way when Fryevia was released months ago. Now, I went ahead and thought that this was an actual issue for global players because when a company promised something to be exclusive and then subsequently releases it on a different server of the same game, it kind of perhaps put a bad taste in people's mouth for those who did purchase the unit or perhaps spent Visi orders or real life cash to build the unit. Then a person came in to the stream, and by the way, I know this person has been following this game for a very long time because I recognized the name from a lot of different comments. We have to thank Lucre for telling us the fact that he was not, in fact, an exclusive. So, of course, everyone in the stream went back, look at the videos, look at the old notice boards, and we found out that the words used, quote, global original, unquote, by the companies. So this essentially made me go back and do more research, and it turns out I was telling people that Fryevia was a global exclusive. I was a little confused when Duane was first released when I went back and looked at my own video. And I said, oh, look, they're using the word global exclusive, or excuse me, global original. Is it exclusive, not exclusive? But later in the video, I still concluded the fact that he was an exclusive. And then, of course, I went back and watched some other content creators' videos discussing Duane, and many folks used the word global exclusive. I even went to WOTB website, in which case they do a lot of coverage of the game. I believe it's called WOTB FFA or something like that, and they even use the word global exclusive. So what does this all mean? It means I have to say I'm really sorry for confusing players, and I know I'm not a huge influencer in World Division's community, but I know that even if I just affected one person in getting them to think of Duane and Fryevia being global exclusives, that is a mistake on my part. I don't represent any other content creators. I only can represent myself. So I would like to make this video and make a formal apology to the community of the game and to the companies themselves, because I essentially created something in my own mind that never existed in the first place. Now, I know some people during the stream and later on in comment section said that still the choosing of using the words exclusive or original still, end of the day, is somewhat kind of deceiving. I don't want to go that route myself, but nevertheless, let's just go ahead and not think about the word exclusive anymore, because that's what ended up this situation being. And if it was the fact that he was exclusive, yes, the companies did do something terrible because they went back on their word on it. And I think that was the cause for people to be upset. I know there are people there out there saying, why are global players always bitching? Why are global players always complaining? Why do you even care if a unit was released on a different server? It doesn't even affect you. But in actuality, that's not the point. The point is principle. The point is morals of conducting business. If a company goes back on their word and says, well, we were losing this exclusive unit, but turns out it wasn't, then that's a slap in the face. I'm just really glad that that wasn't the case. But people have to understand, people don't get upset simply because they get upset. Although there are a lot of people who are feeling entitled and they're probably complaining just to complain. But I feel like I wanted to jump into this situation because I truly felt bad for those players who did spend a lot of money perhaps on that unit, thinking the entire time that he was an exclusive unit. And sadly enough, as it turns out, the way the Japanese players responded to the release of Duane subsequently led to the company making drastic changes. And I think essentially it did end up revealing the true nature of how the companies operated. And that is, if the players do rise up and complain in masses, especially if those who have spending power, the companies are more than willing to make changes. Now, what do these changes mean for global for the future? I don't think I really need to go into details of what I feel like because it's not really necessary at this point. Cabbage has already covered it on this video, and I've already asked the community to rise up and put in comments of what they feel like some changes needs to be done for global. Do I think there are going to be changes? Maybe. Maybe they won't even care in the first place. I really hope that this teach players the lessons, both people who are being negative and both players who are being positive about the situation, that companies will and can do things if players ultimately rise up and rise up for the right reasons. I think personally, I have to make sure that going forward to the future as a content creator who have responsibilities both to inform the public of what is going on with the right information and also inject my own opinions with the right backing of that opinion. Nevertheless, I really hope that in the future, whatever drama we face, we have to take a step back and think, it's a fucking game. There are more shit that's happening in the real world. There are people are dying over things that has no relevance to thinking about games and hobbies and shit like that, right? I think we need to spend more energy on concentrating on other things and not bring some of that negative energy into something that we truly want to just enjoy and escape all this craziness in the real world that's going on. But the only reason I decided to interject was because I feel like these same companies who are run by perhaps greedy people, at least from many people's perspective, is that they're doing things that perhaps are a little bit iffy and questionable. And anytime people do that, we need to call them out on it because that is the right thing to do, regardless if it's a game, real life, your job, your family, your friends, it doesn't matter. What's wrong is wrong and what's right is right. And that's what I always stand by, fighting for the people who don't want to perhaps speak up, and of course, ultimately fighting to do what's the right thing. I hope that companies do what's right and perhaps make reparations to those players who did spend a lot of money supporting the company, thinking that he was an exclusive, thinking the fact that he is a cost 100 unit and that they need to spend the money and the energy and the time and the resources to build the unit so they can have enjoyment out of the game. I hope they don't get screwed over in the future because what they did ultimately in response to the Japanese players on the Japanese server regarding 100 cost unit gets carried over to global. And I think that's all I'm going to say on this topic. For once, I would never think about talking about Duane or Fryevia ever again in terms of exclusive or even just thinking about any of those other nonsense at this point. Moving forward, I will make sure I do my due diligence in terms of making sure I get the right information out to you guys. All right, that is definitely the time I'll have for this video. I want to thank y'all for the continued support. We're quickly approaching 1,000. I want to thank everyone who has supported me through this situation and all the countless others in the past. And hopefully, moving forward, I hope you guys continue to support this channel and support this game. Take care, guys.